Next success guest is one of the most passionate women you'll ever meet. While she has always been a visionary, motherhood transformed her. It unleashed in her a desire to give more of herself to others. Knowing that other women were experiencing the same highs and lows of the challenging world of motherhood, she decided to take action and founded Mundo.
Let's find out how this aspiring woman turned Mundo as the country's ultimate mom resource destination, and how she continues to pursue even more dreams for more venues for mompowerment. Live here at Be Your Own Boss, all the way from Canada, the founder and CEO of Mundo, Janice Villanueva. Hi, Janice!
Janice!
Hi there!
Thank you
Hello,
so
Max.
much
Hello,
for saying
Tina.
yes.
Thank you for being here today and for saying yes to us.
Of course, I think I'm going to talk about community, and I believe that both our communities, Mommy Mundo and Pinay Girl Boss, is all about that. And with one invite, we don't even blink. We just say yes and support each other. That's how it's been ever since. I'm so happy to be here, and congratulations to not only Tina and Max, but all of you here who are taking time to learn and to grow.
I love that. So, Janice, can you tell us more about your story so that our audience can really hear what Mundo is all about?
Yeah, so I'm going to try to share my story. It's going to be a bit tough coming from all that energy from the last segment, but I will share my story. It's been 20 years of doing parenting advocacy work, and hopefully through my story, you'll be able to pick up something along the way. Okay, so with you guys as aspiring and active fellow girl bosses, I'm so happy to be here and also talk about how I built brick by brick the Mommy Mundo platforms. We are now the pioneering multi-platform resource and community for moms, and we are all about the mission of mom empowerment. So I was thinking earlier, how am I gonna make all these women, power women, listen to my talk and stay here for 10 minutes or so. And I came across this quote by Seth Godin, a book author and business expert. And he said, people do not buy goods and services. They buy relationships, stories, and magic. So we all know this. I know you guys know this as well in your own businesses, that when we share stories, that's the time we connect with each other. So hopefully, with our relationship here at BYOBPH, you'll listen to me and hopefully pick up something along the way from my journey. So I started 25 years ago when I was pregnant with my firstborn son. So yes, my eldest is already 24, and it's been fast. As they say, time flies when you're having fun, right? But at the time, I wanted to prepare myself for the biggest role in my life, which was to be a mom. And I was looking for a course a class to take, and I took a class on breastfeeding. Suffice to say that the class was not very effective for me.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing
Probably
you.
we came out of that experience with our mouths open because it was more intimidating than welcoming and empowering. So at the time, there was a seed planted in my mind that there was a need for information and support. So the first takeaway I want to share with you is when setting up a business or marketing your business, recognize the gaps in the market or recognize the needs in the market. So like earlier, what was shared about, am I echoing? Okay. My sound's okay, guys? Yes? Okay. Thank you. So as what was shared earlier, sharing is caring, right? So I'm an oiler as well. So I have here, my oil is energy, for energy because it's early morning here. And when we share about our products, we talk about the benefits to the moms and recognizing gaps in the market, recognizing there's a need for sleep solutions or respiratory support helps you communicate better, your product or service, because we sell benefits more than features. That's more effective, right? So when you recognize gaps in the market, when, for example, I knew there was a gap in information and support for moms, the way I communicate Mommy Mundo is that we're filling your needs for information and support. We're here to support you. We're here to provide classes that will help you in the same way that you guys also share about the oils or whatever product or service that you're marketing. Okay, so eventually, when I found that need or want of moms in the community, I unknowingly stumbled in my own life mission, which is to be of service to other moms. And thus the tagline of Mommy Mundo, which is mom empowerment. And this became the foundation for all things that we do. All our campaigns, if you're part of Mommy Mundo, you'll see our campaigns and our activities online. It's never ending because our needs are never ending as moms. And that's how we've been relating to our community. So the next lesson is to know your seed. So like Bing, my friend Bing, hi Bing, like she said in the earlier segment, know your why. For me, the seed was to fill a need of information and support, and service was my answer. So in your case, what is your seed? What is it that, what's your purpose, right? And what drives you to do that, to get out of bed every day? So I have this saying that says, passion is what drives you, purpose is what anchors you. And the purpose is actually your seed or your why. So this was already in 1999, and the seed of knowing that there's a need for information did not get much water or soil because I had given birth to my first son, and 2 years later gave birth to my second son. This was 22 years ago, and I set up a company called Mommy Matters. So I think some of you here might be familiar with that. I think even Bing and maybe some other people here, some senior mommies. Okay, so we realized when we set up Mommy Matters, it was a nursing wear brand, but then people were not breastfeeding at the time because there was no support. So Bing had not set up breastfeeding Pinays, there was no latch, there were no support groups. So we decided to create breastfeeding talks. So small talks, 50 moms, 100 moms. And we partnered with like-minded women to do the same. So my next takeaway is to find like-minded partners who will complement your strengths and fill in your weaknesses. So when you do that, you're able to multiply your energy. Like I know that this community is super supportive. When you latch onto a community, you take away isolation. You get on each other's back and support each other. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel. People have gone before you, so you know what obstacles you're going to face. And partnering with people is always a gift. So sometimes we feel isolated, sometimes we're shy to reach out, but in the end, people are just willing to help you if you just ask. So it takes a bit of humility to ask, but when you ask for help and you partner, it actually multiplies your strengths and your resources. Okay. So soon after, I set up the like-minded group it's called Mom's Team at the time, and Best Friends in Breastfeeding. Started doing events, as I said, 100 moms, 200 moms. It grew up to 1,000 moms and thousands of moms coming to our mall events. And my next lesson is to not be afraid to challenge the status quo. So Richard Branson once said that if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough, right? So you can dream big, but also it doesn't mean that you have to do big all the time. You can actually start small and take little steps, but don't remove that big dream, that big vision, because at the end of the day, that's the long term that will really make your life fulfilled and you feel fulfilled as well. Okay, so our events grew again to thousands of moms, and eventually I conceptualized an event, first of its kind in 2008, called Expo Mom. So if you are in my generation at the time, Multiply was popular, and I wanted so badly to set up an event where we could see each other face to face. So at the time, it was called Eyeball. eyeball each other. And I set up Expo Mom. It was scary at first. It was ambitious, but I wanted to do it because of the service orientedness, right? And to help other mompreneurs also build their businesses. So it became not only a bazaar, it became a resource destination, a gathering place for moms, where parenting advocates and experts could be alongside each other. And when we set up Expo Mom, I remember I had three little kids at the time. So maybe some of you can relate here. You can comment below if you can relate that I would put my kids to sleep, and then I would go sit in the dining table and open my laptop, send out emails to my whole database about Expo Mom. And it was really just faith that people were getting my emails. And eventually, you know what happened? And that first day of Expo Mom, thousands of people came. Like, punong-puno yung corridors ng moms, dads, kids, lolas, yayas, and the strollers. And we knew we were onto something. We knew that we were filling that gap, filling that need. And the moms were actually already congratulating me, even if day one pa lang, and saying that they were getting my emails. It was being passed on from one to another. And it really filled my heart because I felt that here was my dream coming true. So again, dream big. My dream was to reach every mom in the Philippines, and our one event in Metro Manila became twice a year, became 4 times a year in Manila, Alabang, South, so South, North, Makati, and then eventually we added 1 city per year. And pre-pandemic, we were doing 14 expos all around Metro Manila, all around the Philippines, I mean. Okay, so dream big. And again, you don't have to dream big and be stressed. Another takeaway is let go, dream, set goals, work hard, let go, and have fun. Okay, so let's not forget the fun aspect. That is really an important factor in doing business. Okay, it will not only save you from burnout, but it will keep you dreaming and manifesting and reaching for that goal while enjoying the journey. Okay, so one of my favorite spiritual teachers and book authors was Eckhart Tolle, and he was with Oprah one time, and he asked Oprah, when you were doing your TV announcing and talk show, did you envision that you will be the biggest media mogul in the world? And she said, no, I was just having fun. I think you have to click on my slide. It's the next lesson already. Have fun. So there. Okay, sorry, hindi na nakasing. But anyways, when you actually have this dream or goal, what you do is you set the plan, you work on the plan, but you release it to the universe and to God, and allow God and the universe to do the rest of the work. Okay, so when you just have fun with it, people will feel your passion and they'll latch onto you, and you know, it's not parang you're not so stressed trying to sell something. It's the energy of loving your product, loving your job, and that's what people will latch on to. I'm sure you guys have experienced this already for the successful oilers here. Yes, play is super important. Even in the Book of Joy, the Dalai Lama said there that you cannot be too attached to your goal. You just have to play and have fun. And that's the magic and the wonder that will drive the energy towards making your dreams come true. Okay. So that's what happened to me as well. I just kept adding on to Mommy Mundo from events. We built social media, websites. I was printing magazines pre-pandemic. We built an e-learning platform. We also now have a non-profit organization called MomShare. And again, this was hinged on passion and purpose. Passion of serving moms and the purpose of making a difference in that manner. Okay, so I believe the secret to sustainability and longevity, people ask me why and how I kept this going for 20 years. And my answer is to stay curious and stay grounded. Keep your ear on the ground for what your market or community needs and answer that need. because your why is your compass, and your why reflects the need of your customer or your market. Keep focus on the people that you serve, more than the benefits or the bottom line, and it will show in your work. Okay, not to mention keeping relationships as optimum value. My partners in the beginning are still my partners today. People who spoke at my events, photographers, writers, still are involved in Mommy Mundo. And that's one of the gifts of being in this community. So to be a girl boss, you must also recognize that you can't do things alone. We wouldn't be able to achieve our goals without amazing support behind us. For myself, it's my team who runs the show in Manila ever since I moved to Canada. And running my company remotely would not be possible without my team. So whether it be your team, your entrepreneurs, or groups like this, you just have to value relationships, and that's what will keep you staying longer in business. So my dear girl bosses, this is more or less my story. It took me a long time before I decided to share my story. I was in the advocacy work for 23 years, but I decided to share my story only 5 years ago because I felt that no one's gonna listen to me, or no one's gonna take any lessons from my story. But when I had the courage to share it, I felt that I was instantly connected to my community, the people listening to me. People would write me and say that they learned a lot, and that's what fueled me even more to do better and to do more. It also legitimized my business because coming from brick by brick setup in entrepreneurship made people feel that I'm relatable, and that it's real, and that it also inspired them to do their own business and take on the challenges that come with it. So coming from the message of this event, own your story. You are the author of your story. I want to repeat that message. And stories have power and magic. It grounds us, and also this is what will resonate with our stakeholders, with our customers, and our market. So please start writing your story now if you haven't. Own every piece of it, and don't be afraid to share it. So thank you for listening and for connecting with me here. I hope our relationships and our stories will continue. So have a good evening, everyone.
Janice, thank you so much for sharing your story. And that was just a few minutes, but I hope you guys were taking notes because that was decades of wisdom right there for you. So she's our idol mompreneur. Let's talk about your other project, right? The one for mompreneurs, because you're really a great example for that. And before I go to my question, I just want to emphasize what you mentioned about community, because we are all here because we are part of one bigger community, although we have smaller ones. But I agree with you that when we invite each other, we're showing up in each other's events, right? And we're always available. We always say yes when we invite each other. And that's how you see the support. And I was just talking to Max, and we said this project has made us team iyakin. Kasi we don't really, we're not crybabies. We don't cry so much. But this event has shown us people have been saying yes to us, and you guys are just so selfless with what you want to share. And your story from years ago, and with the lockdown, and your move to Canada, this is very inspiring because there's so many things happening in our lives, and you have to pivot. I mean, Jason Magbanwa mentioned earlier, pivot is so overused. But still, this is an important word. Throughout the lockdown, with your major life change, how were you able to do that? I know you mentioned one factor is your team, right? But are there other things that you want to share that made it possible or easier for you to pivot throughout the lockdown and your move to Canada?
Thank you, Tina. Congratulations to you guys. I know that this event is just like, it's really passion that's driving it. So I'm so happy to see you guys. And with all these women here, it's amazing. So yes, I want to answer. I actually moved to Canada a day before lockdown. It was accidental that it happened during that time. But when we left Manila, by the time we landed in Canada, it was lockdown already everywhere, all over the world. And of course, business stopped. All the businesses stopped because we didn't know what was going on. But after a month of being on lockdown, I really felt that our mom community needed to be anchored to something. So we felt that people were having cabin fever. Remember early the months of lockdown, we were like, our kids are getting sick of the walls in our house, and we didn't know what to do. We were all trying to find ways to keep ourselves entertained. So we started immediately the Cabin Fever series in Mommy Mundo. Even without sponsors, we were doing it really out of service. And that was the big pivot for us because we were at the very beginning of the pandemic, wanted to be there for our community. And people were really saying that they felt a bit of security that they could just go on our platforms and find something familiar. I think it was a gift that we were able to do that. Not just us, no, our speakers, my team, even if we were all going through so much uncertainty, we just said we're going to do this for the community, and that's how we were able to pivot. Eventually, sponsors supported our efforts, and we were able to make it sustainable. And we finished last year higher, even better than the years before, because there was a bit of trust already from our community and from our stakeholders. So that's how we were able to do it. I was actually envisioning that Mommy Mundo will become a digital company even before the pandemic. So we were testing already. My team was working online the year before. We were doing hybrid events the last half of 2019. So it was a blessing and we were ready for the pivot. But correct, the pivot is a sobrang used term, but we all have to do it for survival, but also to be able to serve better because the world is changing. So that's where your why comes in. Like even if the platforms are changing, if you're anchored on your why, doesn't matter where you are, it really will just naturally show and it'll come out. It will come through your work as well.
I love that. I love everything that you said because like what Tina said, like what Jason said, pivot is such an overused word. But then, like what you said, kailangan siyang gawin. And it's so real and so raw that you're able to share with us that even you as an established company, you also had struggles. And the beauty of that is when your community saw what you were doing out of service, dun dumadating yung support. So, moving on to our next question, being the global and industry leader that you are, where do you see Mommy Mundo 5 years from now?
Okay, when I moved to Canada, I thought I was going to retire here. So I said I wanted to knit and bake and just be a mom because I was working for 20 years. I was a girl boss for 20 years. But the Lord is showing me signs that I should be building here. So the goal is to actually start Mommy Mundo here in North America and serve even more moms in this space. It's super, super exciting. I'm being led to a lot of people who are helping me and giving me some insights because, of course, it's a different market. But the goal is globalization. Hopefully, my mom community in Manila will also support that. I really want to bring local mompreneur products to the global stage. I always tell my mompreneurs that, your products, if you go to, because I've been to trade shows in New York and in London as well, even in Singapore, and the products that mompreneurs in Manila make are actually a cut above in terms of branding, in terms of design, quality. You know naman how creative Filipinos are, and I believe that there really is a market if the mompreneurs are willing, because as you know, mompreneurs also are guided by the stage of motherhood. So pray for me, and hopefully we'll be able to bring Mommy Mundo to the world And actually even just teach them what Mundo means, because here I'm asked, what's Mundo? What's Mundo? Then I have to say, it's world. It means world. There. So that's the goal.
Ang ganda. Oh my gosh, I'm getting goosebumps from seeing the photos because I know these moms. I see Shal in most of the events, and there's really just that strong sense of community. And hearing you talk about Mommy Mundo going global, that's the spirit of Pinay Girl Boss. I know we're a baby group, but that's, dreaming big. That's amazing. And you started with not having that kind of business model, but you started it, you put that dream in your heart, and you worked hard for it. And in 20 years, where is Mommy Mundo now? And now you're thinking of going global. So I think let's all dream big, diba? Get your tribe together, get the support of your friends, and we can get there, like Janice. So thank you so much, Janice. You're a stellar woman who took over Mommy World, and we're just so grateful for the time that you have given us, even though you are all the way from Canada. So Janice has showed how we can have the best of both worlds, even if we're busy being a mom, an entrepreneur, and advisor to fellow moms.